Israel says the real battle against Iran is no longer about regime change or nuclear weapons, but about cutting off its financial power. According to Israeli officials, Iran's most dangerous weapon is not its missiles, but the money it uses to project influence across the region. A close aide to Prime Minister Netanyahu warned that every dollar reaching Iran could ultimately end up funding Mojtaba Khamenei's regional proxies.
Every dollar that reaches Iran is a dollar that might find its way to Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and its other terror proxies.
Israel says it is stepping up efforts to choke off the financial networks that support Iran's allies across the Middle East. Defense Minister Israel Katz argued that Tehran converts state resources into missiles, drones, and rockets. Israeli officials are questioning whether sanctions relief could end up strengthening Iran's proxy groups instead of easing regional tensions. The warning comes as Iran stands to regain access to billions of dollars in previously frozen assets. Israel has vowed to block any flow of money that it believes could reinforce Tehran's regional allies. Katz insisted that the campaign against Iran begins by cutting off its financial lifeline before confronting its military capabilities. Israel is also reinforcing its focus on Lebanon as concerns grow over Iran's influence in the country. Israeli officials suggest they are preparing for what they see as Mojtaba Khamenei's next regional move.
The Iranian threat does not begin with a missile, and it does not begin with a drone. It begins with money and the subjugation of state resources. The Iranian state, in its entirety, along with all of its resources, for the purpose of promoting the idea of destruction, for funding, and for the development of systems and threats. For decades, the regime in Tehran has built a regional terror machine based on the non-stop flow of resources to its proxies across the Middle East. Instead of investing state resources in improving the lives of Iranian citizens, in developing the economy, in infrastructure, in education, and in healthcare, the Iranian regime chose to invest in terrorism. Every dollar that enters the Ayatollah's coffers is a dollar that becomes a ballistic missile in Iran, a drone in Lebanon, rockets in Gaza, and is advanced in Yemen. Every dollar that reaches Iran is a dollar that might find its way to Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and its other terror proxies. Therefore, the economic campaign against Iran is one of the most important battlegrounds for the security of the State of Israel. Therefore, we must not settle for what we have achieved so far. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has decided to add 350 billion shekels to the defense budget over the next decade, on top of the defense budget for force building. And this is a decision, a leadership and practical decision based on trust in the economy that has been built, as well as on the ability to manufacture blue and white domestically. Perhaps, except for aircraft, almost everything else. Where, in the end, is a limit of Israel's population size. The scope of the territory, which we saw is significant, and the scope of funding with everything we do and with budgets. In the end, it is here, and it is in space. This is a place where the territory you hold below has no meaning. Your population size has no meaning, and many other things have no meaning. And this is the goal that was set, not only to be in space, not only to operate and be able to defend what we put there and to foil what others put there, but to operate from there downwards, including in disruption, which is quite early, systems disruption, and also in kinetic attacks of various scales. You need to miniaturize what you put up, to miniaturize what you launch. Today, no country has the capability to attack from space. Therefore, if I am committed to the defense establishment, the need to be among the top 3 countries in the world, there is no wisdom in being fourth. Behind the 3 leaders in terms of attack, to be the leading country in the world in this capability, which, if we achieve it, will guarantee us an advantage in deterrence, in attack capability, destruction, and all other things against enemies with vast resources.
After Iran and the United States signed their Memorandum of Understanding on June 18th, an explosive new report about Mojtaba Khamenei's finances emerged, casting a shadow over the diplomatic breakthrough and raising questions about the regime's global money networks. A Bloomberg investigation reported that the U.S. Justice Department is examining money flows linked to Iran's supreme leader, suggesting that American authorities are probing whether international financial channels have been used to move or conceal regime-connected wealth. An Iran International article on June 18 highlighted key details from the Bloomberg report, bringing wider attention to the scope of the probe and the potential implications for both Tehran and its foreign financial counterparts. According to these reports, the investigation is focused on allegations of money laundering and corruption involving Mojtaba Khamenei's network, scrutinizing how funds may have been routed through complex structures to evade detection and sanctions. Investigators have looked at the roles of J.P. Morgan, Citigroup, and other U.S. correspondent banks, assessing whether their systems and oversight practices may have unwittingly facilitated suspicious transactions tied to Iranian interests. The Justice Department is reviewing gaps in due diligence that may have allowed large international transfers to go through, seeking to determine whether weaknesses in compliance and monitoring enabled questionable movements of capital. The probe has also extended to European and Middle Eastern lenders and to payments related to property purchases, reflecting concerns that multiple jurisdictions and sectors may have been utilized to park or move assets. The report indicated that some payments may have reached major global brands, including Hilton Worldwide, highlighting how allegedly tainted funds can intersect with mainstream hospitality and real estate markets. Also under scrutiny is financier Ali Ansari, who has denied any ties to Khamenei, insisting that he has no involvement in the alleged network even as investigators examine his role in certain financial structures. Bloomberg stressed that the existence of an investigation does not mean that charges will necessarily follow, noting that many such probes end without indictments if evidence is insufficient or legal thresholds are not met. Mojtaba Khamenei is reported to have built a broad business empire over the years, assembling a web of commercial interests that extends well beyond Iran's borders and touches multiple sectors. That empire is said to include shipping interests, Swiss bank accounts, and UK properties, painting a picture of a diversified portfolio managed through offshore jurisdictions and foreign assets. The investigation has become even more diplomatically sensitive in the midst of the U.S. Iran interim peace talks, as any move by Washington to escalate legal action could complicate negotiations or be interpreted by Tehran as a hostile signal. Iran's parliament speaker has issued a sharp warning to the United States following the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf says Tehran will not accept any attempt to impose new conditions as negotiations move toward a permanent agreement. Iran's top negotiator warned that excessive American demands could undermine the entire diplomatic process and put the fragile breakthrough at risk. The warning comes as Washington and Tehran prepare for 60 days of negotiations aimed at securing a lasting settlement between the two sides. Ghalibaf stressed that commitments made under the memorandum must be fully honored, insisting that both countries are responsible for implementing the agreement in good faith. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said, and I quote, "We are at your command. The task assigned to us by the Supreme Leader is to pursue the realization of the conditions and clauses of the agreement. In the event of bad faith, breach of contract, and excessive demands by the opposing side, we have no hesitation in delivering a crushing response to the enemy. They were once slapped during the war. If they wish to tread that path again, they will receive an even harder slap," unquote. Iran's parliament speaker warned that any violation of the memorandum or any return to military confrontation would carry serious consequences for the United States. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf said a renewed American military campaign would trigger what he described as a far more crushing and bitter Iranian response than during the previous phase of the war. Despite the diplomatic breakthrough, Ghalibaf insisted that Iran's armed forces remain fully prepared and capable of responding to future threats. The Iranian negotiator argued that the success of the agreement depends on mutual compliance and respect for commitments, not on pressure tactics or unilateral demands.